Guys, Julian Gray, our local tryhard. Like I said, it's our local tryhard. Julian Gray. Oh, that name sounds fucking familiar. Fuck you, I win.
Hey guys, this is Julian of Julian Gray Media. If you're watching this video, and I guess you are if you clicked on it, and if you clicked on it, then you definitely saw the title, so you probably know what this video is about. I got signed, if you will, for lack of a better word, to Mau5trap. And I use the word signed kind of loosely. We don't really sign exclusively as we did back in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, even the 90s. We don't really do the whole I sign my life to the label supplies me with what I need to make music. That's just really not how it works in the era of streaming anymore. Today we sign releases, we sign tracks, and we sell masters and we license masters to whoever wants to use them and to own them. And in our case, we sell the masters to whatever label. This isn't really new to me. I've done releases with other notable labels like Gravitas before, and they're the home of Mr. Bill AU5, Closey, and some of the really cool experimental guys. And then Elliptical Sun, which is like in the same realm as Anjuna and all of those guys. But this one in particular is really special to me, and I'm sure you know why. When I was a kid, I was raised on two different types of music. My parents are both very musical. My father's a guitar teacher. My mother was into like the rave stuff in the 80s and 90s. And my mother was into industrial music, new wave music, very grungy, four-to-the-floor music that kind of influenced my tastes as a kid. Then my father was into early classic rock stuff and then early synth stuff like Edgar Winter and those guys that were just starting to integrate synthesizers into rock music, which was really freaking cool. Pink Floyd and those guys. But between the two, between my mother's grunge and four-to-the-floor music, industrial stuff, Nine Inch Nails, and my father's classic rock and melodic stuff like Fleetwood Mac, say, I kind of got this interesting taste of both ends of that spectrum. And electronic music, especially artists like Daft Punk, really resonated with me because it's exactly that. It's a mix of that four-to-the-floor, hard, heavy-hitting sounding stuff mixed with those classic rock melodies and really cool counter melodies and stuff like that. So I got into Daft Punk and Tiesto pretty early on, and I was riding that for a minute. But the artist that really kind of shifted me into electronic music was deadmau5. Prior to this, I was writing music. I was writing music at age 11 or 12. I'm 21 now, to put that into perspective. And I was writing really experimental stuff. I didn't really know what direction to take my music in. I was interested in those Daft Punks and the Fleetwood Macs and all the hip-hop guys at the time I was listening to and pop music at the time, and even some industrial stuff that bled through from my mother. And you can actually hear some of my experimental music. I did a video a few weeks ago reacting to some of my earliest music. I wouldn't recommend checking it out because it is terrible, but if you're interested in my humble beginnings, you can check out the video in the upper right-hand corner and check out some of my earliest music. But the artist that I discovered, it kind of blindsided me and it resonated with me the most was deadmau5. I discovered him in a very influential time in my life. I was just starting music production. I guess I was probably new to middle school even. And I discovered his music around the era of 4x4 equals 12. And it just resonated with me perfectly. He has a ton of the melancholic melodies that I loved from classic rock and stuff like Pink Floyd and Coldplay even, and then the grungy electronic stuff that my mother loved as industrial. His writing styles are just what influenced me as an early artist. So this is like, let's say 2012. The first album I ever waited in line for was Album Title Goes Here, which today is one of my favorite albums. Definitely, probably my favorite of the Deadmau5 catalog, even though it's probably not objectively the best. It's one of my favorites, just from that nostalgia alone. So around this time, I had a friend who used to sit in the back of the bus with me. We used to ride to school together, and we had an MP3 player that we kind of shared, and we listened to like old Skrillex and stuff like that. And this is before Skrillex was a Mau5trap artist. So I really fell in love with guys like Skrillex, and then lo and behold, my favorite artist, Deadmau5, signed Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites. So then this is like, okay, this label is actually pretty cool. It's put out two of my favorite artists now, Skrillex and Deadmau5, and that was a mind-blowing album, by the way, Scary Monsters. Then they put out Excision's first stuff, the X-rated album, and then I'm like, okay, this is getting better and better. And they put out Noisia, and then it's like, Noisia is absolutely mind-blowing. That was a little bit later down the line, but I think that was probably when it solidified as like, okay, this label is like next level. This is one of my favorite labels, and they put out some of my favorite music. They started off Madeon, not directly, but they did subsidize that. They helped it, and he's now one of my favorite artists as well, just from a musical perspective alone. And I kind of just fell in love with Mau5trap over the years, over so many releases, especially in this golden era, the 2012, 2013, 2014 era of Mau5trap. And as new artists entered Mau5trap, I fell in love with them. I fell in love with Atlas and Echo and all of those guys. And that was like my late high school years by this point. And eventually, like, I was kind of like in the community so much that I kind of bonded with a lot of other fans that liked this kind of music. And it really feels like a good fit when I work with a label like Mau5trap that I've been impacted by for several years, and has left such an impact on my life personally. So as of February of this year, I signed several tracks to Mau5trap, some that you know, some that you don't know, and I'm excited to show you. And the first of which is coming out next week, and fittingly, it's on the 1st of May, the first release on the 1st of May, and it's actually the weekend of my birthday. April 29th is my birthday. I'm turning 21, which all works out in a very, very timely manner. So if you guys want to check out this song, make sure to check the link in the description. If you're watching this after a week from now, obviously it's not out yet if you're watching it when it's new. But when the video does go live for the song, I'll put the link down there as well. So I'm incredibly excited for this collaboration. We've been talking about doing some other stuff on the channel too, maybe some in the project videos, live streams on the Mau5trap channels, and maybe some remix competitions on the channel where I give you the project file to one of my Mau5trap songs, and you guys work on it or remix it or something. Maybe we'll do like a prize or something. And I hope you guys are as excited as I am for that, because it gives you guys cool entry access to like inside views of the project files and stuff like that. Maybe me and Mr. Bill will do some stuff soon, just because, you know, he's on there too, and we're both YouTubers, and I don't know, we've worked together in the past, but just brainstorming. We're thinking about doing some stuff, me and Mau5trap, and I'm excited for the future here. I hope you guys are as well. And yeah, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Never miss out on any of those cool new things that we're planning to do this year. And maybe learn a thing or two if you like music production. I am a music production teacher, as you know if you watch my channel. If not, then hello, I'm Julian. And make sure to subscribe to a Mau5trap artist. Give the video a like if you liked it, and let me know future ideas down in the comment section below. Awesome, guys. So I am Julian of Julian Gray Media and Mau5trap as of February this year. and I will talk to you in the next video. I hope you enjoy Resident Tryhard, the first single coming out on Mau5trap. Bye-bye.